Welcome to the Distorted Dialogue podcast. We have Braxton. This is the first in the Tech Talk tips. I wanted to bring some guitar techs in and talk about, what it's like teching on the road, man. Thanks for coming today, Braxton.
Glad to be here. It's an honor.
Yeah, so you're just getting back off the Slackjaw tour, maybe ended about a week ago. Tell me all
But
about it. It had to be fucking killer.
it ended a week ago today, actually. We went up and down like the East Coast, branched out a bit into like Chicago. The tour was absolutely insane. Such a blast. Those guys are the nicest guys in the world. Try to adjust my seat here. There we go. But teching on the road is, you know, this was my first tour, so there were tour jitters in the beginning, and but like I mainly handled merch for them because they need somebody to do that, and I was glad to do it. That was quite an experience. Tell you what, Slackjaw fans are a different breed. Honestly, we got wiped out of stuff so fast. It was insane. Like Chicago, they said, "Oh, you have hats? Well, not anymore."
Yeah.
But like I did some teching too, and to finally do that on the road after a 5 year buildup was insane. You know,
So you've known Slackjaw for 5 years?
not 5 years. I've known Brady, the guitar player, for about three. We had been messaging back and forth. So how this came about was 5 years ago I started the Gary Holt Guitar Rig page, and that actually ended up getting me recognized a little bit out there on the road, which was weird the first time. Within the first show, actually, within 15 minutes of me getting there, I was late and everything because my flight kept getting delayed.
Sure.
And excuse me, but 15 minutes later, some dude comes to me. I know who you are. I watch your videos. What? I was
Yeah.
taken aback at first, and that was really cool. But like, how the Slackjaw thing came about is quite the interesting story. Craig and Lum from Heathen, also Exodus when Gary was off playing in Slayer. He was giving me a hand trying to find a tech gig, but this right after a certain pandemic, everything was still messed up, like really bad. It's just dead end after dead end after dead end. And I had known about Slackjaw for probably about 2 years, maybe a year, maybe. It's hard to say. It's so fuzzy now. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna shoot Brady a message and see if he'll even humor me. Which, to his credit, he did. For some reason, he humored me.
Yeah.
But there's a memory that always sticks out. I had actually just talked to my friend about this the other day. We were waiting for the Mean It video, and right afterwards, he said, and I'll never forget it, is for some reason, I think you're going to work for these guys. And here we are, like 3 years later. We actually just looked too when that video came out, and he said it 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Almost four now. It's wild.
It's crazy how things like that just come together. Almost like it was meant to be, you know?
Yeah. Then, like, so this is a really, I don't see it as a coincidence. I see it as it was meant to be because of this. But so the tour started May 7th. My favorite Exodus album came out May 7th of 2010. Then not only that, when we played Reggie's in Chicago, rather they played it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the promoter for the show, his name's Brian. Shout out to Brian, super nice guy. He had mentioned that Kerry King had debuted his new band there, and I looked it up, and it was on May 7th of last year.
Yeah.
So very weird,
Which is
really cool.
crazy because if the fans don't know, you also run a Jeff Henneman guitar page too.
Yeah, yeah. I did that after I bought my JH600. I want to do my little piece, I did the whole page for maybe about a year at that point. And I like, well, you know what? I want to branch off and do like this actual like Slayer album tones. And I did all those like with maybe within like a year and a half.
Yeah. So who do you prefer playing then, Jeff or Gary?
In Slayer,
Either.
well, um, if it's in Slayer, it's gonna have to be Jeff. Even
Sure.
Gary would agree with me on that. But
Sure, sure.
that's a really hard to say. Gary has such a weird, unique style that when I have him on my podcast, I can't wait to talk about because I struggle with it to this day. Jeff is an excellent songwriter, though. Like you look at all the standout Slayer songs, and usually they're written by him. Death's Get
Yeah.
Masked, 213, War Ensemble. I think that was co-written between King and Hanneman. So, but you look at most of those writing credits, and it's Jeff on there.
Yeah, hell of a songwriter.
Absolutely.
But I like Gary's lyrics. Like when Gary
Yeah.
makes lyrics, I really like them.
Like the early Exodus stuff is very tongue in cheek too, but like I prefer the more modern stuff if I'm being honest. It's more brutal, more based in reality. Like you look at Exhibit B, my favorite song off that album is Nanking. That's written
Okay.
about an atrocity like when the Japanese invaded the town of Nanjing and the horrible atrocities they committed there, and they still deny it to this day.
Sure. So I think Exhibit B is one of my favorite albums, and I think Burn Hollywood Burn is my favorite lyrical just because he's just throwing shit in people's faces.
I
Totally.
love it.
Yeah. Love Gary Holt. I love Henneman too. And then you also do Sinister Gates.
Yeah, that one was like kind of short lived. So I wanted to do it because a friend of mine had recently got me back into Avenged Sevenfold. That was like the first like metal band. I'm gonna get so much crap for this, but this was the first that was the first metal band I had really gotten into. I got into them like because of Call of Duty and that. I mean, I listened to metal before, but it was like very scarce, you know.
Yeah.
But they were the first band I like really dove into. And I'm like, you know what? I want to do this. And it was maybe a little too ambitious with what I have at my disposal right now. But it was fun while it lasted. I
Sure.
got I got a good bit of what I wanted to do out there. So
I'll be honest, I never really listened to Avenged Sevenfold. I think I know one song by them, but I'm old.
uh,
I'm old.
it, actually, Brady from Slackjaw, he doesn't like Matt's voice, which to be fair, it kind of changes over time. Um, it's like hard to recommend somebody like where they should start off with that band. Usually I say like City of Evil since that was like their biggest breakout album, that third album. But like I like the more proggy side of things with them, like the stage and that.
I got acres of grass to cut after I hang up with you, so maybe I'll get into a deep dive of Avenged Sevenfold.
Hey, I recommend it. The guitar work's insane.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
I'm all about riffs. I gave up drinking, cigarettes. I gave up all that shit. I'm addicted to riffs now. Just chase them all day.
that's a good addiction to have.
Hell yeah, except I try to make riffs, but I suck at them.
Oh, I'm so rusty.
I have fun,
Don't feel
so that's
bad.
all that matters.
Yep, that's all that matters at the end of the day is you have fun with it.
So what led you into guitar and teching and working on them and because it seems like you're more into like the gear and the tone side of things rather than like working into the writing and the which I mean you're kind of into that too, but I can tell you're really into guitars and equipment and
Yeah, how that came about was originally I wanted to be a drummer, believe it or not. And Leonard Skinner's Simple Man kind of changed that. I haven't heard the song in years, no doubt. And when I heard that, I'm like, no, I think I want to become a guitar player. And from there on out, I started playing. Very still not that great,
yeah. Was
but
that like when you were really young, like as a kid?
I was like 14 or 15.
Okay.
So like I was just starting really get into this type of music big time. Like I already started listening to Avenged Sevenfold at that time. Um, and more metal bands were slowly coming in, like Pantera and that. But like the love of the guitar started with Leonard Skinner. It's something about that southern like rock, they just know how to write stuff.
Yeah. A lot
So
of soul in their music.
yeah, absolutely 100%. Like they just put out a video for Freebird and that song's like how old?
Yeah, I didn't know that. That song has to
Yeah,
be at least 50.
I think somebody said 52 years old. Like,
Yeah.
wow, you put out a video for it now, and hey, whatever, that's cool.
Better
Great
late than
song,
never.
exactly. But how the tech stuff came about was my guitar teacher had sent me home with I don't even have the guitar anymore. I wish I kept it as just a keepsake. Um, Sent me home with one of my guitars, and he wanted me to set it up for the next week. So I do that. It's like my first real intense setup, neck relief, all that like fancy stuff for
Yeah.
like a new guy doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
I take it into him and he's like actually impressed. and that's when I figured out, oh, I have a bit of a knack for this. So, years go by. I have a background in like advertising, art, and all that.
Okay.
Um, and sadly, that industry was taken over by AI, which
Yeah.
really sucks. It's sad to see that. Like a lot of people that I went to school with for that, they can't find jobs in that field.
Yeah.
But by the time my like junior year, I'm starting to get really burnt out with it. And I was looking into like the touring tech side of thing because I figured out maybe I could do this. This might be something for me because I'm one of those people that I like to quote Christopher Montesani from the Sopranos here. I don't know, T. Maybe the regularness of life is just too hard for me.
Yeah.
I'm not one to fall into some 9 to 5 and just stay there forever. I can't do it. And when I was out on the road, I discovered quickly, yeah, this is it. This is what I needed.
That's cool.
This is what I could do. And but once I figured out I had a knack for this, I started looking into it more, started doing it more on my own, and I took it to two people primarily. This crazy idea. It seemed a little crazy at the time, but looking back, it's not so crazy because it actually happened. Um, I took it to my guitar teacher and my tech teacher, not like guitar tech terms, like the art teacher and that. And they both said, "Yeah, that's the perfect route for you."
Yeah.
So I started researching more, and like by the time of that, I had already been in the Hope for a good bit and learning. Like Sinister Gates might have been the one to like really get me into the guitar, but Gary Holt's the most important influence because he got me serious about it.
Yeah.
Like the gear side of things, setups, all that. Like because like he's like me and Steve Brogdon were talking about how he sets up his action over the course of the tour. They don't play for a while, it comes down. They keep playing, it keeps going up and up. And so like I
Okay.
used to like you could find those influences too in my setups. Like I used to play with really high action. It's kind of changed now from then. But so in May of 2020, it's been 5 years now that I started the Hope page, and it started off as a side project. I didn't expect it to take off the way it did. At least to me, it took off. Like looking at that count, that follower count, like, and it was never supposed to get to that point.
Sure.
And I'm thankful for everyone that follows that. And that was like getting my foot in the door. Um, so over time, going back to like Cragen and that, like I'd gotten to know him a little bit, and eventually I ended up with Slackjaw.
I think it's pretty cool that you took like your idea, and you got to take risks because like a guitar tech isn't like something you hear kids like, I want to grow up and be a guitar tech. It's always like a
Yeah,
career or some shit. But
yeah.
I think like I started this after like some massive changes in my work life viewpoint. I went through some shit and then I got in a car accident. And so I started recording just to remember things. I rolled my truck going 80 and then like 2 days later, I went to see Mastodon and Gojira, but I had to film the whole thing because my memory was like wiped clean. So that's how I started this. And I'm seeing, like you said, like it's growing faster, just like yours, but you have great content too. I mean, like,
Thank you.
like you have Steve Brogdon on there, like that dude's killer. And I hate Gary Holt. I love him because like I love his playing. But he's the one who like I was like, oh, I'll buy a guitar. So now I got like back pain. I got expensive guitars. My hearing sucks because of Gary. So, um, but I do. I love doing this, and I can see like if you felt that spark and that passion, I think it's awesome that you found it so young and like you're gonna have years and years, ahead of me in your passion. I think it's so cool that you took a risk and made it happen.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's been quite the ride. Like these past 5 years. Like looking back, like every when May 28th rolls around every year, I just like take a moment and look back and like from where I started this before I even graduated. I,
Okay.
I was I was maybe like a couple weeks from graduating. I knew I wanted to do this, so
Okay.
I just went and did it. And like sometimes like too like I didn't understand this. Like sometimes you just gotta ask. Like I was always like scared to ask people like, hey, this and that. But like with Brady, it was like maybe I should just ask. And I just got off a tour with them, and it was so much fun like touring the country.
Oh, I bet it was. And then now I bet you met a lot of cool bands on the way too, like openers or whoever.
Ah, yeah, they're one that sticks out is for sure Violent System. They were our first openers on this run. Love those guys. We all hit it off immediately. We had a common interest. Oh, can't
Okay.
get in the frame. We had a common interest, so we hit it off like immediately. Then our second openers, Razor Grave, they were great too. They're a thrash metal band. I would say Violent Systems were like death metal, but
Okay.
both bands are great. Then we had our tour manager's band out there, Paris Bridge. Them and Slackjaw have a pretty long history.
Okay.
Like you look at the first two Slackjaw runs, they were like co-headlining those. But they came out nice guys. Then like we had local openers too. One that definitely sticks out is Resurrected from North Carolina, thrash metal band. These young kids that are flying the flag high for thrash metal and doing it right.
Resurrector?
Yeah, Resurrector.
The other one you said was Paris Bridge?
Yeah, it's Parris
Okay.
Bridge.
I'll look them up. And then, especially with Resurrector, I found a thrash band out of Tulsa called She Hates Me Not. And that I don't even know if half the band has driver's licenses, but man, these dudes shred and they have like that old school 80s feistiness to them. I like it a lot. I'll send some stuff over to you.
Yeah, please do. When I discovered Slackjaw, for example, I'm very picky, believe it or not, about music. Especially when it comes to metal. I'm like, I don't want to say I'm a critic, but just I'm very picky. I know what I like.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
when I discovered Slackjaw, I wasn't expecting much. I even told Dallas this up front. I'm like, dude, when I found Slackjaw, I wasn't expecting much, but that first album blew me away, and I know it blew you away.
Yeah, yeah. And I was
It,
like you said, you can tell I listen to a lot of fucking music. And like I said, that grabbed me immediately, especially that WMD. Did they play that on tour?
yes, yeah,
Adam Fox.
I think that's a staple. They actually brought out one of my favorites too. Hate Affair, Manufactured Rage. I actually learned how to play it from them, so
That's
I know
awesome.
how to play it right now. It's like perfect.
My daughter, so both my daughters are extremely busy. I have a 10 and a 13-year-old, but they like perform in ballet and like musical theater full time, like at high level. So my daughter was just doing a run of Wizard of Oz downtown, and it was right like in May. So she had two productions that she was working for, so I couldn't make it to the one up in Erie. And I was like, I know they're gonna play WMD, and I'm gonna be so fucking pissed that I missed it. But I had to miss that. I missed Millvale had Millvale Music Days, and they had all these killer like bands like Tiwanaku from Pittsburgh. I wanted to see them live so bad, and my daughter had a show that night, so I had to skip. But man, I wish I would have gotten to catch you guys up in Erie.
Oh yeah, it the whole tour was just great. The fans are great. Just and they sound so good live. It like here I when I got to Knoxville and I got to hear them live for the first time, it's like wow, they sound pretty much just like their albums. It's impressive.
Yeah.
Dallas, like he's really grown into his own voice wise, and like you go from the first album to now, just follow that track, and his voice just gets better and better. When Mina came out, me and my buddy even noticed like, wow, his voice got a lot better, the production's a lot better, and it just keeps getting better and better. So I'm looking forward to the future with these guys. I keep telling them, and I don't know if they believe me or not, but I keep telling them they're going to take over the world. I think we're looking at the next Metallica here, if I'm being honest.
Dude, they're really solid stuff, man. And even they just had I think it was a single or an EP that just came out.
Send me.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ascension. I have no memory, man, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's killer.
they played that live as well, and wow, just man, it's so good.
Fans probably gave it a good response, I'm sure.
Yeah, I want to say like Cleveland was by far the best crowd. Like man, and those like crowds in like North Carolina too, and Richmond. Those crowds were nuts.
So these guys are from South Carolina, right?
Yes,
What part?
like Greenville.
Okay. I used
Yeah,
to live
Greenville.
in North Carolina, so I'm always like, there used to be a really cool record chain called Manifest Records down in North Carolina. And they had like three or four stores, but they catered to like metal and punk. And that's who basically that record store got me into like the underground of metal, really, like back in 2000. And I think without that record chain down there, those guys will know. But without that record chain, I probably never would have gotten to where I am in metal. So thank you, Manifest, even though you closed all your doors.
Yeah, it sucks that record stores are going out.
Hell yeah.
I'm a big proponent of physical media. I
So am
always
I.
buy physical. I mean, I get digital's convenient, I get streaming's convenient, but at the end of the day, do you really own it? That's the
Right.
question. And
Well,
the short answer is no.
right. I prefer streaming just on Apple because of the quality. But like I buy at least probably two, three vinyls a month just to support bands. I have a stack over here that I haven't even opened yet. And I think there's like five Exodus records in there just sealed for like the last year or two. But I'll get to them eventually.
Yeah, that's like something I got asked about too. Like at the merch table was like, you guys sell CDs, and I've been saying like CDs are a big thing too. Like they're starting to come back. Vinyl made a big resurgence in recent years, but like there's a demand for physical media. So I'm hoping at some point soon that they do physical media, so even I can buy them. Because
Yeah.
I want to have hard copies of those albums. Because great example of this is I think it's Pantera Live, 1998 at Dynamo.
Okay.
It was on streaming services. I bought a physical copy. It's not on streaming services anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I could still listen to it.
I didn't even know they sold that on like on vinyl.
I think at the CD. I don't know if they did vinyl. They might have.
Or
They
like
probably
yeah,
did.
I meant
But
physical.
yeah, but physical media that's I think it's very important.
So now that you're back and you got like some experience and some touring under your belt, are you looking to get out with some other bands? Like is
Yes, that is the hope. But I told them in Slackjaw this, and I'll say the same thing here. Like I get offers, I'm going to check with them first because they gave me my first opportunity. I owe them a lot,
for
you
sure.
know. So I got to set that up. Actually, got in touch with Steve Brogdon about that a little bit. He's busy right now. He's probably getting ready to head back out with Gary and that. So I'm not going to bother him too much. But right now is my downtime. I'm doing my little side hustle and that. So
Now, do you do any type of like tech work like from your house or like on the side?
I I did about a year ago. I did some work for a local shop. Like where I live, it's kind of hard because it's such a small area
Sure.
and there's not many guitar players around, sadly. So that's a little harder. So like I'm not gonna lie, I do DoorDash on the side.
Whatever, man. I work full time and like I cut lawns for record tickets, records and concert tickets. But I
Hey, it's
mean, like,
something.
yeah, I don't get paid to do this at all. So, like, all these bands I'm just throwing out in the world, I don't get a red cent, which is fine. Like, I don't do it for money. I don't even really care. Like, I don't do it for followers. Like, if I piss people off, fuck them, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I try to do my best and that's it, man. I just do it for the love of the metal, you know? Like, sounds really lame when you say it like that, but
No, it's not lame at all. It's the truest thing ever. Like you got to do it for the love of it. Like when you go on the road, you got to love it because you're out there for long periods of time. Like I got homesick at one point on this run, but that was like in Erie because I was so close to home, and
yeah.
this is my first time being away that long. But like it eventually went away.
Sure, sure. And I'm sure, like, you know, even the musicians and stuff, they got families and kids and their mom and dad. So I'm sure they get homesick too, you know, it's just part of the touring process.
You just got to get over it and
But
focus on what you're doing.
I'm glad you guys had such a successful tour. Like no breakdowns, no like bad vibes or fights or, you know, like I'm
No,
glad
no.
it went really well for you.
Yeah, it went very well. Yeah, it was. Those guys are so nice. Like me and Jacob, the drummer of Slackjaw, hit it off immediately.
That's great.
Yeah, I love that dude.
And this,
He was such a good dude. Him, Dallas, like me, Dallas and Brady had a conversation like at like 4 in the morning at one point on our day off.
yeah. That's great that you have those moments. And especially because like you weren't hanging out with them before you went on the road. Like you guys
Yeah,
kind of knew each other.
like me and Brady like knew each other the most, even though it was just online conversations. Like this was our first time meeting in person. Then
Sure.
like Dallas, I started like I the first time I talked to him was 4 or 5 months before the tour is when I got the call. Then like when we booked my flights and that, like we ended up being on Discord for like an hour, just having a conversation, and it was that. So that showed like, yeah, this is gonna work because I get along with these guys and that, you know.
For sure, man. Well, I hope you get it up with another great band too. Hopefully Steve will help you out, and get you hooked.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna like set up an email and all that, like for offers and that. So still got
Yeah,
to do that, but like right now, it's like a week after the tour. I'm starting to finally recuperate properly
sure.
because when I got back, I was up to like I think 5 in the morning changing strings. As
Yeah. Well, it's
soon as I
hard
get
because
back,
it's hard because you travel, your schedule's so off. And it's hard. You probably were just getting used to the schedule and then you come off tour.
yeah, that's the hardest thing is getting used to like a schedule change like that. Because like when we got to Ohio, we didn't get to our hotel until like 3 in the morning or something, and I didn't go to sleep till 6 because I had to shower and that.
Yeah.
So like getting well, I'm kind of used to that already because I'm usually up all night anyways. But like getting home and getting back on a schedule, it's a little rough.
Yeah. I have kids, man. I have no schedule. It's horrible. My body, I just want to sleep all the time.
I get you. That's how I
Yeah.
feel right now. I just got up maybe like an hour ago, honestly.
Well, yeah, man. Well, hey, I hate to cut this short. I got to get going. I wanted to thank you for coming on today
Hey,
and
anytime, man.